Are we ready? All right, welcome to the June 18th meeting for the library board. First, we're just going to start by taking attendance. We'll start in the room, if you want to go through.
Kristen Schipper.
Okay. Amy Oren.
Paul Jensen.
Okay. And then we have some people joining online.
Wanda Minglecook.
Okay.
Hannah James.
All right, thank you very much. First item is we have approval of the agenda. Is there a motion for an approval of the agenda?
I motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll make sure I pause a little bit for our online friends.
Delay.
Was there
Yeah,
somebody who said
little
opposed,
delay.
or was that?
No,
your
it's
voice?
because it's delayed. Yes.
Oh, I see.
Thank you for calling in. Next on our items is our approval of our minutes from May 21st. Do I have a motion for approval of the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Okay. And a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. Any opposed? All right. Moving on to number 3. Any public comment today? No. All right. Staff report with Megan.
Hello. You have my report in your packet with a lot of information in it. I just want to let you know we've had really good numbers at our community engagement events so far this summer, and we'll be at the police community picnic next week. That'll be at Broadway Square. Summer reading program is going fantastic so far. We have almost 2,000 people registered as of earlier today when I checked with our children's librarian. Last year, by the end of summer, we had about 2,200. So we're almost there, and it's middle of June. So I'm sure we'll surpass that this year. One event I wanted to highlight is listed in the children's section of my report, but is actually for all ages. That is the one with the North Dakota Asian American Arts and Cultural Initiative. They're doing a program this coming Saturday at the main library all about the culture of Japan. They'll have examples of traditional clothing. They'll be doing a tea ceremony, and they'll also have traditional games for people to try. We have 2 other outside presenters coming on the 28th. In the morning at the main library, we'll be visited by the Gooseberry Park Players, giving a preview of their show this summer. They're doing The Little Mermaid. And in the afternoon at the Carlson branch, there is a family-friendly comedy show with a mixed nuts comedy duo. Both are geared towards kids, but anybody is welcome. A teen program I personally am excited about is the Investigator Adventures. The last Saturday in June, my little true crime heart is happy, but the kids will learn how to compare fingerprints, how to analyze handwriting, and other investigatory skills. And for adults, I wanted to mention a brand new book club that's focused on science fiction and fantasy books. They're meeting for the first time at the end of this month and then plan to meet quarterly. The first book is by John Scalzi, who's an author that tends to write things that are an easy entry point for people that may be unfamiliar with the genre. And then we also have a ton of regular events. We have movies, crafts, trivias. The details of all of the programs are on the library's website. Can I answer any questions?
Oh, great job. Okay, director's report.
Yes, per your packet, you can see predominantly in terms of the activity, checking in with my admin team and quarterly check-in and goal setting. Those are always good, important meetings with my team. A lot of good discussion there. If anyone has any questions.
Any questions at all? No? All right, no unfinished business. Moving on to new business. Letter A, Notary Public Policy Review.
Yeah, this is a relatively new policy and a service that the library began a couple years ago, I believe, 3 years ago. And it is very, very popular. And again, this is one of those policies, just we've noticed it, not that we've noticed anything in terms of change, but just giving it within 3 years, board review, if there's any questions in that regard.
I don't think I knew that we did this.
I didn't know it
First.
either.
Oh, okay.
I did not know it either.
All right. Is there any questions at all in regards to the notary policy? Okay. Do I have a motion for approval?
Yeah, I motion to approve it.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
This is Hannah James. I just have one question.
Yeah.
I am just curious to see how many staff members are notary publics.
4, 5? Did you say 4? 5. Sorry, Hannah, 5.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah,
We-
that was just my question.
And 2 of
Thank
them
you.
are in the room with us.
Ooh. Nice. Okay.
And again, that the number is that's to provide coverage for that service at both Maine and Carlson.
Okay. Are there like certain hours that's available, or is there always somebody there that could do that? Oh, sorry, Megan.
There isn't always somebody available. It just kind of is dependent on scheduling, which is why part of the policy is we encourage people to call ahead of time and make an
okay.
appointment if possible, or at least call to check on availability.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that passes. Moving on to letter B, library equipment for virtual meetings policy.
And Deputy Director Beth Postema is going to talk about this. This will be a new service that the library will be providing, and this is the kind of the foundation policy behind that new service, and Beth Postema will discuss.
Yes, thank you. Virtual meetings, interviews, taking part in sometimes court hearings, sometimes it's remote things, even like driver's license tests. Many times, not every individual has their own equipment to be able to do this as more government services and employment services move to the virtual sphere. We have had, particularly since the pandemic, repeated requests. Do you have a laptop I can use for an interview in 45 minutes? And we haven't been able to meet that request. It took a lot of investigation, looking at what other libraries did, adapting policies from other locations, other places that offer this service successfully, as well as incorporating elements of our own, meeting room policy. How does that affect computer use policy, even card registration? So it's been 9 months worth of work at least pulling this together, which you have in front of you. And it's not that we have a policy about virtual meetings in the library, because we have a lot of people who make use of our conference rooms with their own equipment. This is much more so library, city equipment for these things. And just talking about security, reservations, timelines, et cetera. It's all laid out in the policy.
Okay.
What a wonderful idea for the people that do not have access to personal materials like that, like the laptops and everything for different things. And it's because so many things have gone virtual now.
Correct. And obviously, we've had computer labs and public computers available since, public internet available since 1997. But this, because of the sound components with the interview and the video, is a different level than what we can support in our computer labs.
Okay.
Must we charge for use of, for example, television connected to a PC and, the HDMI cables that are needed to connect? I mean, I didn't see anything last time that we had.
We only charge for damage or loss.
Okay, so the $28 per use is no longer in force.
No, there is, for meeting room policy. That is not separate from, that is separate from this one.
Right, and where that comes from, Paul, is that it's kind of economizing on staff time that impacts that. Oftentimes the amount of staff time that would be required is just, so they're aware if they want to do it, then, where if the staff time involved, that it's kind of recoups that to a certain
Yeah,
degree.
but wouldn't you say most people know how to connect an HDMI cable and,
I would say you'd be surprised.
okay.
Different equipment has different sign-ons, different cabling requirements, different connectivity. It's not always with a live HDMI cable, sometimes pulling off a wireless, and whether their systems will work or not.
And our people are specialists in this, huh?
There are various people who will need a lot of hand-holding.
In terms of staff, we got staff that are very good at kind of working that out. But again, you run into the limitations of what the person brings in and wants to hook up and that kind of situation.
Yeah.
So it's all the permutations that you run into in terms of that.
Yeah. This is the policy in front of you. This is not the registration form to use the equipment, which is a different two-page form, which includes the computer use, so that still, if you're using our equipment, even in a study room, and violate the terms of use of our computer use policy, no, you don't get to have this privilege anymore. It is really, at this time, we're looking at doing beta project at Maine. We've got the study room set up with basically a U-bolt on the top where we can lock the equipment in,
Okay.
so to secure it. The form itself will list how many, I want to say it's about 12 different platforms that, you know, Skype, GoToMeeting, Zoom, Discord, et cetera, standards that we have a knowledge base and can support. But as policy says, you know, we can't necessarily support everything, and we can't download new software at the time of.
Okay. So it's basically like, here's what's available on there.
Yeah,
But like you said, it really has most of the key
the standards,
standard
yes.
ones. Yep. Okay. Okay. Any other questions for clarification at all? No? Okay, is there a motion for an approval?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, do I have a second?
Hannah James will second.
Okay. All right. Any discussion on this at all? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passes. Thank you so much for putting this together.
Thank
I'm
you very
excited to
much,
hear
and
how
we'll
it goes.
start the service yet this week.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Okay, moving on to our statistical reports.
Yes. More strong activity. If you see the library use report in your packet, May 24 is up 5% over May 23. And again, what's really exciting is year-to-date through the end of May, attendance or visits is up 14% over last year. Programming is through the roof, if you see that. Year-to-date through the end of May is up 51% over last year. Volunteer hours is up. Internet sign-up is up. Electronic activity of the website is up. Then it's no surprise, looking at circulation, again, we had another, and I know last month, I included in the packet kind of showing the consecutive months of record circulation, and you can add May to that. So, yeah, the 86,598 is a record for the month of May since since '09. So looking at year-to-date through the end of May in terms of circulation is approximately 11% over last year, which represents an increase of over 43,000 items over last year.
Okay.
And if anybody was at the library this afternoon, it was absolutely busy.
See with bugs?
Busy and bugs.
Wasn't there bugs over there today?
I think so.
Yeah. Any comments about the hoopla changes? Have you heard anything from anyone?
Been a few. Just explained it.
Okay.
You know, I think once you explain just the dynamic of their, you know, how they charge us, it's people understand.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, our budget is finite. The potential of usage isn't in terms of what, when we were looking at an overage about, a lot of money, and we just can't do that.
Yeah.
So, you can see that that's numbers down obviously in comparison, but you see overall, and you look at overdrive, if you look at it's still, overall circulation is still way
Yeah.
up. So there's a little bit, obviously looking towards 25 in terms of, the next meeting I have with the city budget team is on the 26th of this month, and further discussions about our requests for 2025 budget. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
So that might drive what we're able to do in terms of hoopla and the overall materials budget, depending
Okay.
on what happens there.
I had my first hoopla denials and I was like, oh man. But that's fine. I found it on Libby later. And there was no wait, so I was fine. But okay, let's go over financials.
The first one, if we're looking at the donation summary, on the revenue side, up that $100, that's 25 in memory of Deborah Kruger, 25 in memory of Chad Alstad, and $50 in memory of Carol Tetlin. The 6,982, 4,000 of that is One Book, One Community. Thank you to the Fargo Public Library for that. $775 for the Summer Reading Challenge. Again, thank you, friends, for that. $2,000 for Tuesday for Toddlers with the Plains Art Museum project. And again, thank you, friends of the Fargo Public Library, for that. And the last remainder of that is around $207 for the children's books by Rotary. So thank you, Rotary, for that. On the expenditure side of the 515, 200 of that was the Summer Reading Challenge billboards, and 315 for Northern Narratives online ads. The 321 is, again, from the Friends, Little Arts Day 200, and $121 for the Summer Reading Challenge expenditures. And the $30 is, again, thank you, Friends, for the Way to Do cards for staff recognition. So that's donations, revenue, and expenditures. In terms of operating budget, through 42%, the year lapsed, we're looking at total aggregate budget percentage, just a little around 43 expended. Again, a lot of encumbrances on the front end with that. In terms of overall revenue, just over $15,000 through the end of May, where we're looking good in terms of based on what we estimated for end of year revenue. So we're looking good on that.
Any questions on financials? Okay, anyone for Friends of the Library?
Thank you, friends.
Thank you, friends. All right, I think that concludes our agenda for today. Our next meeting will be July 16th. We are adjourned.